Hello and welcome to the Instagram for Retailers free webinar. We're talking about what to post and how often. We will start the live webinar in about 1 to 2 minutes, about 90 seconds. And I am Crystal Vilkaitis. I see many of you joining now. If you could do me a huge favor and if you could just chat in on the right-hand side of your screen. If you can hear me and see the slides, just chat in yes and yes. We'll make sure technology is successfully up and running before we dive in, which will be at 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern. There is a slight delay between when I see what you are posting and I see Jennifer, yes and yes. Perfect. Pauline says, hi. Jason, yes and yes. Stephanie, yes, yes, and yes. Oh, okay. I love it. Good. Jess and Diane, we are successfully up and running, which makes me very happy. We will begin in just a second. Make sure that you are closing down any distractions. You're going to want to have something to take notes with. And we'll begin soon. Good morning, Diane. Hello, Michael. Welcome, everybody who is signing on. Karen says yes and yes, we are in business. Love it. All right. Hello, Gail. She says yes and yes. And Wendy, yes, good. Diane says she's not hearing anything. Maybe Erica or Pauline, you can reach out to Diane, make sure she's good. Leanne, hi. All right, you guys, it is 9 a.m. here in Carlsbad, California, and we're going to get this party started on time. I see many of you signing in live with me. Laura, Amanda, Emily, Jennifer, Tammy, Lori, yes. You guys are awesome. Thank you for being here live with me. So we are going to be talking about one of the most frequently asked questions I get, which is what should you be posting on Instagram and how often? So we're going to break it down as far as what you should be posting, not just in general, but on the feed, in stories, IGTV, as well as live streaming. So you're definitely going to want to take some notes for today's presentation. And let's dive in. So I want to start by talking about why marketing on Instagram is so incredibly important to a retailer in today's digital world. So first of all, there's over 1 billion users. I did not put my pinky up when I said that, like Dr. Evil, with 500 million active daily users. So if you want to be somewhere where the consumer's attention is and where it is typically spent every single day, Instagram is going to be a great place for that. Now, there are over 25 million business profiles, which actually I think is incredibly low when you compare how many users are actually on this platform. So what that tells me is it's a really great opportunity for a business, a retailer like you, to show up here because the competition is pretty low when we only have 25 million business profiles. And there's only 200 million advertisers, which I also found to be surprising. So the reason that's surprising to me is just we are seeing that some of the costs on Instagram are lower than any other type of advertising that's available. So as a small business, we're always trying to be strategic on our advertising budget. I know you guys can all relate to this. I'm a small business myself. I can totally relate to that. And so in knowing that there's a lot less advertisers on this platform with a lot less businesses, this is a really great place to optimize your budget and to get some free as well as paid exposure. At least 80% of all users follow at least one brand on Instagram. We are not afraid to follow brands here, especially if they're posting content that we connect with and we're interested in, which is exactly what we're going to talk about today. 60% of people say they discover new products on Instagram. And that's because we are turning to this platform to be inspired. We are buying products. And just like on other social platforms, if the content's great, it intercepts our attention and we click through to see what else people are selling and what types of products we can buy from these brands. Now, Instagram is owned by Facebook. Facebook bought them several years ago for just $1 billion. And that's important because, first of all, 1 out of 5 minutes is spent on, or 1 out of 5 minutes spent on a mobile device in the US is either spent on Facebook or Instagram. And Facebook has a lot of integration with Instagram. You can publish to both platforms at the same time by linking your accounts. You can run your ads on both Facebook and Instagram at the same time. And so when the consumer's attention is either on Facebook or Instagram every single day, this is incredibly important for marketers to make sure we are working hard to show up here and connect with people through awesome content. And this platform is visual. I think most of my retailers that I work with, they love Instagram because it is a lot easier than Facebook. It's more intuitive. You're either posting a video or a photo. And as you've noticed probably over the years with Facebook, they've become a lot more visual. Obviously, Pinterest is a very visual platform, but this is a place where people, again, are just going to get inspired. We're looking at content and we're shopping from this platform. A third of the most viewed stories are from businesses. So even though there's a lot less businesses on Instagram, a third of the top viewed stories actually come from businesses. So that's another great place for you to get free exposure, which is in the Instagram story. Now, Instagram has been continuously releasing business features over the past few years, making it more attractive for businesses to get on the platform. You know, of course, Instagram wants advertisers on the platform because that is one of the ways they make money, the main way they make money. But they also want to make it a great experience for the consumer and the user. And so there are strategies around that, like with their algorithm and what you're posting and when and how Instagram determines all that. We won't go too deep on the algorithm today, but I will give you some content ideas to help you stand out in the feed. But with having the business profile, with ads, with tagging your store location, with the ability to shop, there's shoppable shoppable posts that you can now have on Instagram. And then they're also releasing, this is live, where you can actually check out right through the Instagram app. You never leave the application and you purchase products from businesses. So that's a huge reason why retailers, you guys all have products to sell. The only thing you can sell through Instagram is going to be products. It cannot be service-based businesses. So another benefit for you. And also, I've said it several times already, people are looking for inspiration and are buying products. And like I just said, with the ability to check out right through the app, we're going to see more and more people buying products on Instagram. So those are some of the reasons, in case you weren't sure already, or if you just wanted a little bit reassurance on using Instagram for your business, it is a strong platform. I wanted to also break down the demographics for you. This is from October of 2018, and the top two age groups are ages 18 to 24 and 25 to 34. So if you're trying to reach consumers who are in between 18 and 34, this is a great platform for you. We want to do some research, understand where our potential customers are spending their time, and they are certainly spending it on Instagram. So hi, Bonnie, and Pasha and Victor. Hello, everybody that I didn't get to say hi to. And I see Karen is asking, how do we sell checking? Or through the app or checking out? So Karen, we're not going to get into those logistics today. We're going to stay really focused on what you're going to be posting and how often. But I do have a resource that teaches you how to set all of that up. And I'll talk a little bit more about that at the end of today's webinar. Hi, Peggy. Okay, so for those of you who are new, I see a lot of familiar names, but if you have never been to a webinar of mine, I want to welcome you. I want to just take a couple of minutes and tell you who I am and what we do here at Crystal Media. So my name is Crystal Vilkaitis. I have been in the social media industry for over 10 years, really a pioneer in this industry, and I am a world-class social media speaker. I have been all over the world teaching retailers how to successfully use social media. We have a membership website called Our Insiders. We host in-person workshops. You're seeing a picture of that in the bottom right corner. One of our groups over here, and some of you are on this call right now. And we also do some training courses. And then, of course, I am traveling and speaking. But what makes us special is we work exclusively with independent retailers. So mom and pop brick and mortars who are selling products, who typically have a local shop. We help you drive traffic into that store and sell more products. I am joined with, starting on the left, that is Jessica, who's on my team. She's my Facebook and Instagram ads manager. I have Erica, who's just to the right of me, and she is our membership coordinator and helps anybody if they're ever stuck trying to sign in, as well as posting all of our social media content. And then we have Pauline on the right. Pauline, we like to joke, is like the boss of everybody, including me, but she's my director of operations and she runs the show. But we all have experience with social media. We are all here for my insiders. It's really a team approach here. And I'm just honored to work with all these ladies. They are awesome. We have worked with several big name brands, helping their retailers like Mohawk Creative Co-op do it best, Teleflora, Vera Bradley, Museum Store Association, World Pet Association. We work with independent retailers, but we're not with a specific line. We tend to work with all sorts, ranging from florists to pet to jewelers to gift and home. And there's a good chance that you fall in one of those categories. Personally, I love going to Disneyland. It is my place that I like to go and kind of work on the business versus in. Every time I go, I always get clarity on a business idea or something I'm thinking about. And it's just because I took a break and stepped out of the business, which I highly recommend that you guys all do that too as business owners. Work on the business versus always being in it. And finally, you know, I talk a lot about evolving and staying in business. And I strongly believe this, that as business owners, if we don't evolve our business, if we don't pay attention to our industries and adapt and change, we won't be able to keep up. And we will close our businesses. And we are seeing this obviously with small businesses, with the failure rate being so high, but also in the retail space, you're competing with Amazon and e-commerce sites. And so it's even harder for you in today's digital and tech world that we all live in. But I am a strong believer in the independent retailer, the local mom and pop. We still have retailers who are crushing it and are thriving and have never been more successful, even though they have the competition from Amazon and e-commerce. But the key here is that you just stay up to date, you evolve, you listen to your customers, you do some research. And by you being on this webinar today, that is part of evolving. You're here to know what's working today with Instagram, which is an app that you should absolutely be marketing your products on. So, with that being said, let's talk about what to post on the feed, in a story, on IGTV, and live streaming. So with your feed, now this example that's on the right is showcasing some new items that are being released. Freshly Picked is the retailer I'm showcasing here, and I highly recommend that you check them out. You might want to just take a note, write down their profile picture. I wouldn't necessarily go there right now so you don't miss anything, but they just do a really fabulous job with their social media. You might actually recognize this brand. They were also on Shark Tank. And if you ever need kind of like a person to look at, to model, to see what they're doing well, check them out. Now, I love this example because they say 7 brand new styles are launching tomorrow at 10 a.m. and you have a chance to get your order for free. It's Lucky Sevens Day, and the 7th, 17th, and 77th order of every hour will be reimbursed starting at 10 a.m. and ending at 10 p.m. So what I love about this is it's fun. They kind of gamified for every hour with the Lucky Sevens. It's got a theme, and it's all about their brand new items. If I'm following a retailer, I want to know what's brand new. Everybody loves knowing what is new or what's going on sale, or if you only have one of a kind left. So we want to make sure we're showcasing our products here. And this is an incredibly creative way of doing so. Now, if you don't sell online and you're like, holy guacamole, this person's getting 77 orders every hour, I can't relate to that. Don't even worry. You don't have to necessarily do something like that. I just wanted to show a really creative way of using new products and how to announce them. But you can even just do a video or a nice photo of the new product, share that it's new, and post that onto your feed. One comment I want to make with your feed, these tend to be a little bit more designed, a little bit more polished, because this is representing you as a business. And when people go over to your feed, we really want a nice representation of our brand and the products that we sell. So these typically are lighter, easy to see, crisp, the lifestyle images. If you have lifestyle images from the manufacturers you guys carry, those can be really great in your feed as well. Now, one of a kind, the whole FOMO, like fear of missing out, there's only one left. If you do any kind of custom designs, if you're a consignment store, then that type of content can work really well. Again, just make sure that it's got a nice design or nice lighting for the feed. Announcements, like business announcements. Maybe you are expanding and you're opening another store location. Maybe you are taking on an entirely new line or a new service offering, or you're launching a subscriptions aspect to your business. Whatever it is that you're doing, announcements are a really great place for you to post into the feed as well as entertaining content or inspirational or educational. I love this example from Lip P Boutique that says, sometimes all you need is $1 billion. And I agree. So when you're posting content that either entertains or inspires or educates, the key here is just making sure that it is authentic to your brand. It makes sense for you. Like if you have a very serious, heartfelt, mission-driven products that you sell and that's who you are, then maybe the really funny, weird memes are not going to work well for you. So of course, be authentic to your brand and also think about your customers. What are they going to engage with on Instagram? Because you're creating content to get them to hit that heart button or the comment button and leave you a comment or tag their friends. Something that's so incredibly important for you when you're posting to all social media sites, but especially Instagram, is to make shareable content. And so if it really connects with your audience and it inspires them, educates, or entertains, it's a great way to have shareable content. Then humanized content in the feed is going to work well too. Any of you that sell items that can be worn, you always want to wear them. Make time to just put them on and take pictures or do videos in the item. If that doesn't make sense for the products that you sell, like maybe you're a furniture store, I would still have a person sitting on the sofa, or some of those lifestyle shots that you see that are professionally taken where the dog and the woman's reading paper on the sofa. So having people in the pictures helps humanize the content, helps people connect. It is a social platform, so they are, users are connected with their friends and family. And again, as long as the content's just polished and has great lighting. Contests and giveaways are a popular content piece for the news feed on Instagram. This is a great way to grow your following as well. giving something away, having people follow you and leave comments. It's a fun way to gamify your Instagram profile. There's a lot of different strategies on contests and giveaways. I've even got an entire video dedicated to it in my new Instagram course. But typically your contests and giveaways, you will post those on your feed. You could use the story to say, hey, have you entered our contest yet? Go over to our feed to read about it. So you could kind of cross promote with your stories for the feed, but that's a really great content piece in there as well. And you're so right, Diane. I totally have a typo, and it needs to say wear items, not wear items. So Diane, thank you. And Pauline, will you please make a note of that, and I'll update that. Thank you, Diane. And then Instagram exclusives. So maybe you want to give a special deal just to your Instagram followers. Or wouldn't it be cool if you had certain products that you could only see through Instagram? So you've got to make sure that you follow us over on Instagram. It's the place that we release the newest products, this specific line, our one-of-a-kinds, or our very special deals. So that's a really great way to get people engaged and to get them to follow you as well. And then for your feed, truthful or heartfelt stories or inside look at your business, this comes into the authentic side of who you are. Again, it's a social platform, and today's consumer, and especially the millennial who is a big user of Instagram, really wants to buy from people. We care about relationships. We care about the story. We are more likely to buy from brands that we feel connected to and we feel like we know than those that we don't. So including some of that in your feed as well is a really smart strategy. Be open and share more about you and your business. Side note, you could take these. We've got, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different content ideas, and every eighth post could be a truthful, heartfelt inside look at your store. So you could kind of cycle through these is what I'm getting at. If you kind of need a structure for posting, you could have one be new product arrival, the second be one of a kind, the third, maybe you don't always have an announcement, but maybe it's sale or event related. The fourth could be entertain, inspire, educate. The fifth could be a customer or staff or you. Maybe you're not always running contests, so that doesn't have to be a consistent, but just to kind of give you an idea on how to structure this content as well. Something else that works well in your feed is having a theme, and themes train your audience to come back to your Instagram account. So this is a cool example from Anna's Flowers, which they are also doing a great job with their Instagram account if you want to check them out. And they used to do a customer of the week. So it was always kids in the store. They would ask for permission. They would snap a photo of a kid in the shop, post it to Instagram, and then they would basically say like, meet, here's our customer of the week. And what ended up happening is the moms would go to the Anna's Flowers Instagram account to see like, oh, did my kid get picked? Or if they knew their picture was taken, they're waiting for that. They may tag themselves, they may share it and repost to Instagram, but this is a fun way to engage with your Instagram audience. It is more than just selling products and all about products. We want to be posting creative content ideas to get people to come back to us versus just hoping that they see what we post in the feed. So I love that example. Another cool example is to get people to engage. So this is an example where you pick 4 items, and the question here is, which one would you wear? To make this even easier, I would recommend putting a 1, 2, 3, 4 on each of these, or an A, B, C, D. And then you're asking people to vote in a comment below. So they do say, pick your fave, which one would you wear? I would even say, tell me in a comment below. That might seem incredibly like no-brainer, like of course they're going to, but actually having that text of what you want the Instagram user to do they're more likely to do it. So you could do some market research here, or it could be a creative way of showcasing product of different colors or variations to get people engaging. There's a good chance people are going to be asking the price and what size and all of those things. So make sure that you are really responding to everybody that answers this type of post. Okay, so now we are going to move into stories. Now your story, these expire after 24 hours of being published. You'll see these when you sign into the app. They're the circles at the very top of the app. And this is expiring content is going to work best here. So the urgency, FOMO, fear of missing out. So sale information, the event is coming up. Or one of a kinds is going to work well in your stories. Event invites and event info leading up. So of course we could talk about our info, but you can or our events, but you can kind of do a countdown to the event, and every day you could do a story about some of the things that's going to be happening this weekend. Maybe you've got a live band, maybe you're doing a silent auction, maybe you're going to have some wine and cheese, maybe you're bringing in an expert, kind of break apart the event, and each day talk about something special that's going to be happening and remind people that they need to show up. I am seeing Tracy's question about how many followers do you need to make something like this happen with the market research. And Tracy, I would test it. I would start when you at least have 100, 200 followers. Of course, engagement and people commenting will be lower if you have 100 to 200, but just keep doing it. You'll train your audience as you grow, and there's a chance that maybe they're tagging some of their friends when you're posting great content to help you grow as well. Okay, back to our stories. So behind the scenes works really well here. Your stories don't have to be as polished and professional as the posts on the feed. These can feel a little bit more natural and grassroots and organic. And even just like opening up your store or unboxing items or taking people behind the scenes when you're shopping at markets for products, working with your reps, anything that's store related that is behind the scene is great content for your stories. And Carol says, are the stories shareable to Facebook, and should they be? And yes, Carol, because Instagram and Facebook are owned by Facebook, you do have the ability to link your accounts. And so when you do post on an Instagram story, if your Facebook is linked, you have the option to share it over to Facebook story as well. You can either leave that as an option, or you can just auto sync it, and then it can automatically be published anytime you post an Instagram story. I do recommend posting your Instagram stories to Facebook as well. Facebook stories are way underutilized. They're not as popular as they are on Instagram. More people are watching and posting to IG stories than they are Facebook stories, but that is an opportunity for you as a brand to show up in stories where there's a lot less people showing up. So I do recommend linking the two. Okay, so then tell a story. We are in stories, so a good way to use a story is to tell a story. So for example, you could share 5 stories in one post. A story can either be a photo and it's up there for a couple of seconds and then it'll disappear, or you can post a video up to 15 seconds. So maybe you choose to have 5 different pictures and it shares what you do each day while you're opening the store. One of those pictures could be like your hand on the door, and it's like, I get in at this time and the store always opens at 9 a.m. And so boom, that's your one story. Then next one maybe is a video. And the video is of you like, okay, so first thing when I get in, I'm checking all my online orders, or I'm checking my emails from my vendors, or I'm ordering new products. Just kind of a behind the scenes look using 5 stories that are kind of back to back, whether it's in a photo or a video. Diane is saying, is it better to go from Instagram to Facebook or the other way around? Diane, you have to go from Instagram first, then in order to publish at the same time for Instagram and Facebook. So start there. Then you could also give a special offer in your stories. I like to post these in the stories versus in the feed just because it is expiring, so it creates that urgency. You could tell users to use the coupon code or to take a screenshot of the story and bring it into the store. I would just make sure that you put an expiration on that. So maybe you publish a story today that says $10 off your next purchase, screenshot this, bring it in by Friday. And I would put the date on there too. And then people can just take a little screenshot with their phone, come on in, show you that, and save $10. Those types of strategies, or if you don't want them to screenshot, you could just tell, give them a coupon code name. Often people are still going to just screenshot that because they're not going to remember. But this strategy is a great way to drive traffic in and to see if people are to track your efforts, because it can be challenging to track social media. There are definitely strategies of tracking, but we can't track all of it, right? With all of our marketing, we know that there's an element that we just can't track. So with this, we know how many people actually come in and redeem the offer. I really want to encourage you to start strong if you are posting multiple stories at once, because people can just quickly skip through, or they could just swipe on by and it exits out of you and goes to the next story. So we want to make sure that we really start with great content, engage people, get to the point if you're posting multiple stories. And just a quick note, if you are newer to Instagram, you might not know this, but you must have 10,000 or more followers to enable the swipe up feature in stories. You can use swipe up in ads, however, without the 10,000 followers. So if you are an Instagram user, you've seen this. Like if you watch a story, somebody might be like showcasing a new dress that's available and there's a swipe up button below. People can swipe up and it links that, and it basically takes that user over to the site where they could buy that dress. So if you don't have 10,000 followers yet, a way around this is to run an ad to get people to swipe up. And then another idea for you with stories is doing a question or polls. Interaction, like an interactive story, is a really great way to get people engaging with your content. So Mary Magnolia, which is another great brand on Instagram, they did this question, are you going to be coming to our event, basically, which is happening today, or was that yesterday? I think today's the 9th at 11 a.m. So can't wait. Or there goes my paycheck. So you can modify what those buttons say. You could type like a simple yes or no, like, are you loving this new item? Or maybe you have a couple of items up there and you have the button be like, I love the blue one, or I love the yellow one, or something that really showcases your personality, like this one, there goes my paycheck. What happens is people can choose the option for them and they're voting. It's like a poll. And then you get the stats on the percentage of people. So when I shared that market research example with the 4 photos, and you could have people comment, that's a great strategy to get engagement on the feed. If you are also wanting some data on the percentages of people that are liking certain products or lines or colors, you could use the questions and polls feature in stories. Now, this option here, this is a poll. Questions is where people actually chatting questions, and you could put those over your stories. But that's just, again, an example of the interaction. There are so many tools and stickers and things that you can put on stories. I have a video dedicated to touring stories, which is inside of our Instagram for Retailers course. I'll tell you more about that at the end of this webinar. Plus, we've got a lot more ideas in there for your stories and what to post. And Laura says, I want 10,000 followers. I'm a little over 1,200. Hashtag goals. Well, Laura, if you've got my course, I've got an entire section on how to build. So I'll tell you a little bit about that later. And Lori says, can you do all this sort of thing from the PC? I hate using my cell phone and cannot type on it well when it is ever charged and turned on. So Lori, you can do some stuff on a PC. The easiest thing to do is posting from the app, especially if you're going to be posting to stories and using all of their stickers, like you're going to do that on the app. Now, you can use different tools to create content on your computer and then schedule the content to go out on Instagram. So that could be your workaround, but then you'll miss out on posting to the stories. And I do recommend posting to both. We definitely want to use feed and stories. Now, if you go live, which we're going to talk about next, and or if you're using IGTV, those are specific strategies. You don't necessarily have to use lives and IGTVs, but I am going to talk about what to post there. And okay, so she's been using Social Report for that. Perfect. Yep. And then Kara says, Lori, I use Hootsuite to schedule Instagram, but you can't do stories. Exactly. And then we use later.com, which is later.com. to schedule our content for Instagram. So there's a few options for you in there. Lori, it's okay if you don't know stories. I'll give you a resource that will teach you a little bit more about them here shortly. Okay, so we are moving on to live streaming. Now, I do recommend live streaming. If you are an insider of mine, you know I talk about going live all the time. And I do that because it works. It drives people into the store and it sells products. So what type of content to post through your lives? You could do a sneak peek of new items. You could talk about what's happening at an event where you can go a little bit deeper because you're live streaming. So this is a video and it could be as long as you want it to be. Whereas the story, you only have 15 seconds for a video. And with your feed, you only have 60 seconds. So if you're wanting to take a little bit more time to talk about something or showcase products, going live is an option. You can also be posting live from an event. So maybe you have this really great fashion show or this like spring festival that's going on. You can do a special live stream right from the event, set up the phone and people can follow along. You could also have a special event just for Instagram where I've seen retailers do this, where they have a fashion show and they do it when the store is closed. And the only way to join in is either through Instagram and or Facebook. And then it gives you an opportunity to go live. The benefits of live is that people can comment in real time. They can ask you questions about the fit, the price, what it's made of, how many you have left, anything like that. And it allows you to really build relationships because you could talk to them. Like you could say who's on the call, just like we're doing now. And I'm answering Kara and Lori and you know, we're all connected here together. It's a way better experience when we have this group and this community online. And so you could do that through an Instagram live stream as well. And I think a lot of my retailers, customers like that, especially if you're a local business, because you already have a community established. It doesn't always have to be in person. You can use these apps and do some special events that you live stream as well. Now, a couple of just best practices for you with your lives. Make sure you engage with the audience. I do want you to ask some questions so they participate. Say hi to them, but don't do too much of this. Like if you see somebody, like people are signing on and saying, hey, all throughout your live, like don't stop while you're talking about something just to acknowledge somebody is now with you. You can sort of have a break and then say hello to everybody and then keep going. The reason is we really want to hold people's attention. So we just have to have great content, be prepared, go through your items or what it is you want to talk about, but have those little breaks to ask questions and answer people's questions as well. I also want you to have a CTA, which stands for call to action. During your live and at the end of your live, for example, you could say, go to our site to see all the new items if you do sell online, or come in and use the code IG10 to save 10% on anything featured in this live video. It gives them a reason to come in. You don't necessarily have to give a discount. You could just say, come in to get these before they're gone because they're gonna go fast. Rhonda says, have y'all figured out how to save a live video? So what you can do with your lives is after you're done live streaming, and I think I have a note in here about that. Nope, I don't. After you're done live streaming, you are given the option to save that video. So you could save it to your phone. You can also publish it to your stories. And I highly recommend that you do this, because if people weren't live with you for that 15-minute fashion show that you did, we want them, anybody who missed out, we want them to see it. So you can save it to your stories, publish it to your stories. It will stay there for the next 24 hours, because remember, stories expire after 24 hours. So we'll save there. But Rhonda, you could save to your phone when you're done as well, in case you want to use that video for something else. Maybe you're publishing it to Facebook, or maybe you are creating a blog post out of it and you're embedding it onto your blog and sending an email to people to go watch the fashion show that you did on Instagram over on your blog. So those are like next level strategies for integrating other social platforms to get more eyeballs on your lives. I have lots more ideas in our Instagram for Retailers course and some best practices. Again, I'll talk about the course in a little bit. So we're moving on to what to post on IGTV. So I first want to, I'm going to address Diane's question actually first before we go into IGTV. So Diane is asking, how long can a live stream be? Diane, it could be as long as you need it to be, and then just not a second more. So be really prepared, stay engaging, answer questions, and then when you're done, you're done. So you can live stream for 10 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour, as long as you need it to be. And Lori says, I'm pretty new to Instagram, so stories are gone after I watch them a few times or after a certain amount of time. So Lori, those disappear after 24 hours. And Rhonda says, yes, I've been waiting or wanting it to flow for Facebook. Oh, got it. Yeah, you'll have to save, and then it's a little more manual process, Rhonda, versus automatically sharing it over there too. All right, awesome. I'll tell you guys, I always get the most questions around stories because there's a lot of features you can use with your stories, because it does disappear, the way that people consume stories and the metrics around stories. Like, you get a lot of great insights on if people are swiping through yours or paying attention or not. But you just have to make sure you've got a business profile to get all those analytics. Okay, so IGTV time. Now, I see a really great opportunity for IGTV. It is one of the features that got added a little bit later. It's a newer one. It got added in the summer of 2018. And in this example, I've got this retailer's profile pulled up, and the top arrow is pointing to their IGTV channel. So if you've set up your IGTV channel, the placement will automatically be where you're seeing it here. So if somebody's on your profile, they'll see it in that left, just to the left of your highlights. So those branded ones that say like new arrivals, try on, and sale, those are all highlights. So if you do have an IGTV channel, you'll see it right there. The next arrow is showing a little white icon that's in the top right corner of that video. And that is telling the user that that is an IGTV video. So if somebody clicks on that, they can click on the icon and go over to the IGTV channel of this retailer to watch the full video. Here's why that's important. I shared with you that videos on a feed can only be 60 seconds or longer. With your IGTV videos, these can be up to 10 minutes for a smaller account, or they can be up to an hour if you've got a verified larger account. So if you want to spend 10 minutes to talk about something, or maybe do a fashion show, but you don't want to live stream it, you want to pre-record it, and you want it to live on longer than 24 hours in the story, using IGTV is a really great strategy. And with the new preview, because this is new, where they actually preview IGTV videos in the feed, that's driving a lot more traffic to the videos. So I highly recommend using this and setting up your channel. The type of content that you're going to publish here is more produced content. It doesn't have to be like in a studio. It's just, we want to make sure we've got great lighting, great sound. So more produced. This is pre-recorded and it must be vertical. For the best experience, it needs to be shot vertically on your phone. The content that needs more time, like I said, you only have 60 seconds for the feed. So if you want to talk a lot more about all the new items or do an unboxing video, which is really popular for retailers, do so through an IGTV. Then you could also do weekly segments that creates value. So maybe your industry, you get a lot of questions. There's a lot of education around the products. If that's you, you could do a show like every Friday where you're on for, 5 to 10 minutes talking about your industry and teaching your users, creating value. I see QVC type shows working well here too. With this Palm and Circumstance Boutique that I showed, they do a really great job with Instagram. So again, if you need another person to check out, but they are constantly posting to IGTV and they're just showcasing items. See how they're just wearing them. They're sharing the price. They are sharing sizes. They're very authentic in their how they're describing things. These two videos here are only 1 minute and 11 seconds, and the other one is 1 minute 18 seconds. So they're keeping these pretty short and sweet. Remember that if you don't have a verified larger account, you have up to 10 minutes and you can kind of test and see how long people are watching your IGTVs. But this is not like super high production, but they have great lighting, natural lighting. You can hear them while they're showcasing items. Really smart way to use IGTV. If you have any testimonial videos, if you work with anybody, you style them, or you're an interior designer and you've done homes for people, or even just customers in the store that love you and you're always there for their gift items for everyone in their lives, then you can ask them to do a video and post that on your IGTV channel as well. All this content lives on. It stays on your channel. And something that I want to point out that's super cool with IGTV videos is in your caption, if you post a link, it is clickable. Where on the Instagram app, if you just publish to your feed and you have a link in your caption on your feed, that is not clickable. As of right now, I just feel like Instagram must change that. So if you do sell online and you want to drive traffic to your site for people to buy from you online, use IGTV and put the product link in the caption. And Karen says, what store is this? So Karen, it is Palm and Circumstance Boutique. And you can search for them. It's the same one here. Their handle is it's all spelled out. Palm and Circumstance Boutique. And you could check them out. They've got branded highlights, an IGTV channel, and they're using stories, and they have an optimized profile. So they're a reason why I chose. They're doing great with Instagram. For me, IGTV reminds me a lot of YouTube content. So educational, tutorial, how to, and people are buying from YouTube as well. There's a lot of product information on YouTube. So this is the same type of content. If you do have a YouTube channel, think of this the same way, but just make sure your IGTV content is vertical. And just a reminder, up to 10 minutes for smaller accounts for IGTV, up to 60 minutes for larger and verified. And links are clickable in the IGTV captions. All right, so you guys, let's switch gear. We just did some brainstorming on the types of content, giving you some ideas of what to post where, and a little bit of education on the best practices with each of those areas of the app. Let's talk about frequency now. And before we do, I just have a social media posting note, and this goes for all social sites, not just Instagram. There is no crystal ball that tells us how often to post. Focus on quality content and pay attention to how your audience responds to what you are posting. If you post more frequently, does the engagement go up or down? Just pay attention to that. How are people engaging your posts if you post more or less? Now, I also want you to look at how often are you available to post quality content. You know, if you can knock out like several photos, the lighting's great, you can wear the items, if that makes sense for your products, you can do some videos, and boom, you could do a post a day. You can, in one sitting, create 7 posts for your feed, and then we're just doing stories quickly each day, then that's awesome. But if you can only really create 2, like a couple quality posts for your feed a week, then that's fine. But the most important thing is to be consistent. You are not going to use Instagram to drive traffic into your store and sell products by posting on your feed once a month. It's just not going to work as well for you. And so I really want you to focus on consistent content, posting weekly. I'm going to share some posting goals for you, which is coming now. So if you do need some like minimums to follow, or if you're just starting, or you just want some structure with your Instagram posting, what I recommend for the feed is a minimum of 3 times a week, but ideally every day or every other day. When it comes to stories, I do recommend posting daily here. The reason is the content expires after 24 hours. So we want people to see you. I want your store to show up every day. The stories have top placement, and you have an opportunity to just have that new fresh content daily. It doesn't have to be over polished and produced. Use it daily. Now, when going live, this really does depend on your strategy. You could go live once a month to weekly, or more if your audience shows up and engages with the lives. So if people are like really used to you going live and you get a lot of comments and you sell a lot of product and people love it, well, then I would do it more than once a month. Same thing goes with your IGTV. This depends on your strategy too. So this could be weekly with a new segment. Like maybe you do have a show that kind of has a name attached to it. Or maybe it's something that you do twice a week. Honestly, the IGTV really reminds me of kind of the new blog posts or podcasting. So this is kind of like educational or interviewing or even just showcasing your items. And so maybe we're doing that a couple of times a week. But again, it just goes back to your strategy on how you're using lives and IGTV. But you are definitely going to be posting to the feed and to stories. Kara says, I had a social media expert tell me that Instagram posts should be curated with a color theme to make your feed more cohesive. Thoughts? So that can work well. It can make the feed connect to your brand as long as that color theme is the same color as your brand, right? So the colors you're using in your logo. That is a really great way to build consistency and brand recognition. So yes, that is smart as long as it's branded. Karen says, is it wrong to post a story that features the same items as your current post, but not identical? No, Karen, that's totally fine. You know, you can have different types of pictures or shots that you're using between the feed and story. Maybe in the stories, you're using some of the stickers or some of the interaction or interactive features that are built in to make those a little different. But as long as they're not identical, I think that that's totally fine. And food for thought too. I mean, you could post to your feed, and then maybe in a few days or next week, maybe it's a really great shot, really great content piece, and it got a lot of exposure and a lot of people engaged with it. Then you could maybe take that same image, and if it looks good in a story, go ahead and post it. It's been a week. We're kind of repurposing that content. There's nothing wrong with repurposing because not everybody is on the app at the same time seeing everything you post. There is an algorithm with Instagram. It controls who sees what when. Not everybody's seeing everything. So posting the same thing in different areas during different times isn't a terrible thing to do. It can actually really help you leverage the content. Kirsten says, is 3 to 4 times a day too much? Kirsten, you know, if your audience is engaging with it and you are getting comments and they are liking, they're hearting that and they're acting on it, they're clicking over, they're buying, whatever your CTAs are, then no, that's fine to post that much. Your audience might be trained, you might be producing really great content, and they love hearing from you and seeing it. I would recommend, and you're probably doing this, spacing out the content. So I wouldn't post 4 posts to my feed at the same time, but you can definitely do that in a story. So the stories can go like back to back and post together to create a story. Because remember, those are only up for a couple seconds, then they go to the next story, next story. But with the feed, we don't want to bombard people with too much content. If you do that, they will unfollow you. So just space it out. But Kirsten, it goes back to my point about just paying attention to how people are engaging with your content, and look at your insights on the Instagram app to learn more about your users and how they're consuming your content. And Kara says, I read somewhere that noon to 2 p.m. locally is the best time to post on Instagram. Is that accurate? Is there a way to know that for sure? So Kara, I don't agree with people who say post during this time and they blanket statement that. Like, everybody has different customers in different industries, in different locations around the world. So that doesn't make sense. And I know that it's saying locally, but it doesn't make sense for everybody. So you want to look at your insights, and Instagram will tell you when your people are on, like the top peak days and times. Use that for custom posting times. I wouldn't go with like a big blanket statement. I just don't think we can do that. Okay, so a note, you will post more during events and when you get new items or during contests. So, like if you've got big events happening, you might be posting 2 or 3 times in your feed when you normally only do so every other day, and that's fine too. But these are just some structure if you need the structure. If any of you need more Instagram training, and if you liked today's webinar, then I think you're going to love the brand new Instagram for Retailers course, which is officially available. I hinted at this a little bit throughout today's training, but we do have a lot more that's inside of the course. So this is just a quick overview for you. We start with a pre-course training. These are the tours. I walk you through the basics of Instagram and how to set up your accounts the correct way. I know there were issues with linking on here, so we go through that in this course. I show you how to post stories, how to set up your IGTV channel. Then lesson 1 is all about how-tos and best practices to snap your way to success. There are several things that you could probably fine-tune with what you're already doing to leverage Instagram even more. Or if you're starting out, then this is a really great lesson for you to just get started on the right foot. Lesson 2 is all about posting strategies to drive engagement, traffic, and sales. I gave you some strategies today, but I have a lot more of content ideas for you inside of lesson 2. Lesson 3 is how to easily grow your Instagram audience. We talked about that. We've got to build. If we're trying to get to 10K to have the swipe up, then go through this lesson. I've got a lot of awesome examples in here, and I think you're actually really going to love what you'll find, because it's going to be easier than you think it is, actually is. Lesson 4 is how to leverage Instagram advertising. So you can use advertising to build your following and build your reach, but there are a couple different ways you can advertise. I go through both of those ways, and what's best for retailers, what kind of content you should be using in your ads. There are strategies there, and I just want to make sure that you really understand best practices with advertising, especially because you're going to be spending money, right? Like, we are paying to run ads here. Lesson 5 is all about what the meaningful metrics are and then how to track those. So we did talk today about, like, how do I know if people are coming into my store? Well, that's one metric that we do want to measure, but there are other things that you can look at within your insights to see, if Instagram is working well, how your audience is engaging with your content. Is the content performing, or do you need to make tweaks? Really understanding those metrics to make your Instagram posting highly effective. And then lesson 6 is all about the tools and the applications for next level designs, as well as some to save you time when you're on Instagram. So there are probably hundreds of applications that you can use with Instagram. Like, there are so many add-ons and so many third-party tools. I have tested many of them, so is my team, and we created our top favorites. So that's what you find in lesson 6. So it just kind of helps you with the overwhelm of like, oh my gosh, there's so many apps out there. I just give you the ones that I know you're going to love being a retailer. Now, with this course, you also get the quick start guide, 9 easy steps to get set up for success, just kind of what you should be doing every month when it comes to Instagram. Plus, you get the course bonus influencer marketing packet and template, getting started and growing with influencers. Now, influencers are one of the best ways to build your audience, engagement, get website traffic, store traffic, sell, but there are strategies behind it. There are things you need to look for when you're finding your influencer. And we even created a template that you can use to send off to influencers. It'll make you look a little bit more polished and have an influencer really want to work with you in your store when you use this template. So this is a bonus that you get when you get the course. So exciting news. The course is normally $397, but if you buy it today or within the next 48 hours, you're going to save $200, basically getting it for more than 50% off, and you can get the course and own it for just $197. This comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee. I always guarantee all of my training courses. So if you go through the course, you didn't learn anything, you didn't like it, just let us know in the first 30 days and we'll refund that $197. But if you know you need more Instagram training, now's the time to get this course so you can save $200. So to learn more about what's inside, as well as to get your hands on the course before the offer goes away, you can go to this link, and Pauline on my team will post this link into the chat so you can click on over. It's also in the offers on the webinar, so you can click there and sign up right away. And I know that we had a couple of questions. So Anna says the influencer bonus is worth buying the course. Yes, exactly, Anna. We get so many questions about influencer marketing, and so that's why we created the bonus. And I'll tell you, influencer marketing is best with Instagram. It doesn't work as well on Pinterest or Facebook. It does work with YouTube, but it's really strong on Instagram. So that's why it's coupled with this course. Chrissy says, what do you think about adding something like Linktree to your Instagram page to help lead people to specific areas of interest you are focusing on that month, specials, educating about products, etc.? Chrissy, I hands down recommend Linktree, and it is something I talk about in the course. We also use Linktree on our Instagram bio, or our Instagram profile. If you guys aren't following us, we're Crystal Media Co. Be sure to follow us. But Linktree, for anybody who's not using it, what's so cool about it is you only are allowed one link in your bio. So if you're like, sharing stuff in your feed or on your story and you want to say link in the bio and you want to drive people over to that product on your page or to an event to buy tickets or whatever is going on for your store, Linktree, people click on that link, but then it opens up and there's several buttons for them to be taken to different areas. So it's like having several links in your bio through Linktree, and this is a free tool that you can use. So I highly recommend it. And then Mike says, I use the free version of Later. Do you recommend the subscription version? If so, why? I need to sell the store owner on it. So Mike, we also use the free version of Later. What you might want the paid version for is you unlock better analytics. So that could help with the store owner wanting the paid version, because then you can tell a more kind of like a richer story about your followers and how they're engaging with your content. Also, in the paid version, you can schedule stories and have those published through. So, or actually, I don't think they auto-publish yet, but you do have the option to schedule stories. So you can get all your stories ready to go, and you could say when you want them to go live. And with the paid version, you'll just get a notification on your phone that says it's now time to publish, and you just boop, hit the button, and then it goes live to your story. So that is would be a benefit too. So selling the owner on that, it will save you time. Where, you know, if you want a story to go live on the weekend, it's much easier to have that done, and maybe you're not working on the weekend using the paid version of Later. Okay, so I don't see any other questions, but if you do have a question that I didn't get the chance to cover, feel free to chat those in now. I remember that there was a question earlier where Patricia said, I just started, but I can't figure out how to link with business Facebook. It wants to link with my personal Facebook. So Patricia, I do walk you through like visually on the app how to do this in the course. But when you go to settings on the app, I would write this down, settings, and then you go to linked accounts, and then you go to Facebook. You give it a second, and Facebook is going to show your personal account. It'll show your personal name, but you're going to click on that and then give Facebook a little bit more time, and it's going to most likely prompt you to allow access to your pages. Go ahead and allow access, and then you'll see your pages that you're an admin of display. So you just have to click through on your name and then give it a second and go through those steps to link to your business page. But like I said, I do go through that in the course if you need the visual walkthrough as well. Okay, and then I'm just making sure that I know there was one more question, but I'm having a hard time finding it. So if you do have a question, feel free to chat it out. Yeah, Mary said, can't figure out how to separate my business and personal accounts. So Mary, without seeing what you're seeing, I will say, and anybody listening on the app, you can add an account. So you can have your personal account, like I have my Crystal Vilkaitis account, and then I have my Crystal Media account. And then I also have an account for my dogs, and I'm an admin of my boyfriend's real estate account. So I have 4 accounts that I'm logged into on Instagram, and I can just switch back and forth to depending on the one that I'm going to be updating. So that's what I'm going to recommend. Mary, it sounds like, you know, it might either be connecting, you might be having the same issue that Patricia was having with the linking. But what I would recommend is under settings, you can add account and then log into the business account. So then you swap between personal and business. Okay, Anna, does that affect how it shows up if it's scheduled with Later? No, Anna, it does not. And Anna says, thank you so much. I look forward to meeting you in Grand Rapids. Awesome, Anne. Cannot wait to meet you in Grand Rapids either. Please come over and give us a hug and say hi and tell us you were on this Instagram webinar. And Anna, does Instagram penalize you for not posting for real? No, it does not, Anna. You know, we see some lower organic reach if you publish through a scheduling tool on Facebook, but I haven't seen those same things with Instagram. So I would say you're in the clear. Just like I say with anything, test. You know, if you are scheduling with Later and all of a sudden you're noticing that those posts have less reach, it could either be the content, the time that you're scheduling, or it could be that you're using Later. But I have not seen any negative issues when we schedule with Later. Anna says, bless, all capital. Awesome. All right, guys, so I'm just 5 minutes past our hour-long webinar here. So I am going to conclude today's webinar, but if you need more Instagram training, I've got you covered in this course. Make sure you get it before the offer goes away so you can save a couple $100. And Bonnie says, thank you so much. This is great. You're so welcome, Bonnie. Thank you, everybody, for taking your time to be here. I know how busy you are, and so I hope you learned something new. You got a new idea idea, you're feeling energized, and you're feeling confident with your Instagram strategy, or at least knowing you've got tools to help train you, because this is really one of the best platforms for retailers. So take advantage of it. Debbie says thank you. You're so welcome, Debbie. Enjoy the rest of the week, you guys. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.